Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Mobius Front 83, where hopefully this recording is going to go a little smoother than the one that I just tried to start. You know, dog stuff. So, I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the way that the game is unfolding now in terms of both, like, the narrative getting more interesting and the mechanical complexity rising to the point where just play all tanks is maybe not the right thing to do as we get access to, like, more units and more styles of unit. But I still feel like you could probably cut the first 8 missions off of this game without... and the game would just be better. You don't lose anything at all. I'm wondering if, structurally, that long, kind of boring first chapter is going to end up being necessary. Like, the game's name contains the word Mobius, so my assumption was that it would be sort of a time loop narrative. Like, maybe we would find out in the end that those mysterious otherworld Americans that we were fighting in the first chapter are us at the end of the narrative, going back to fight ourselves in the past for whatever reason. With the introduction of the bug world plot element, I am thinking that that is less likely. But I'm really curious if it's going to turn out that that first chapter had to be that way for some kind of story reason. So I guess we'll find out. Anyway, let's do the thing. Also, as a person who lives right about here, I gotta say, this is not the northern peninsula. What is this? Michigan is made of a lower peninsula and an upper peninsula on account of that's how we usually conceptualize maps, I guess.
Now don't start driving till a helicopter lands, got that?
I got it, sir.
I tell you, this one time, this guy was itching so hard to get out there, he just gunned it way too soon. Helicopter wasn't even close to landed. He and the Jeep fall 100 feet, maybe more. It was all bouncing on his tires and shit like, wow.
Sergeant Benjamin Dancer remains the best character in the narrative, aside maybe from Randy.
Was he okay?
No, he fucking died.
You know, like I was just saying. I mean, it's good advice. Don't drive the Jeep until the helicopter lands. It's very solid. Alright, so, interestingly, we are 15 and 15, totally even with the enemy. That makes me a little bit nervous. It makes me think they probably have static defenses, in addition to 15 points of units they already have stuff down. Because we are definitely, generally, underpowered relative to the enemy. Okay, well this is a good way to get me to not use tanks, right? Just don't let me have any tanks. So we got these big, unarmed helicopters that transport lots and lots of stuff. And then this one that has an anti-tank. Okay, so I mean, I assume we have no tanks, but they're going to have tanks. I think the anti-tank Jeep is a pretty tough sell because of the fact that the unit that counters it is the tank, and it also can't shoot things that aren't tanks. This particular unit occupies an awkward niche where it's not good against anything ever. I think a lot of the setup units, like, you could move them from always wrong to marginally okay by just removing the setup thing. If they can't fire after moving, that's already bad enough, you know? So we do have access to Cobras, and I do love a Cobra. But if the enemy's got tanks, we're definitely in a lot of trouble. We can airstrike some of them some of the time. That'll help. I mean, we definitely got to play one of these, right? At least one of these. I'm fairly sure that the correct answer is not 3 Cobras and one of the infantry Chinooks. Right? We probably need more bodies on the ground than that. So where do we want to play? I mean, they have to come through here, right? Or they have to hit these 2 points somehow. So my inclination would be to staff up the trees around this area as thoroughly as possible. Where do we want the sniper team and the anti-armor team to be? If we place somebody right here, they can see all the way out to 3 tiles. 3 tiles is the range for both the targeting laser and the anti-tank munition. Somebody here can't actually see the point, but can see into the bottleneck at least. And obviously this has full vision of the whole area around it. If we play a... Yeah, if we play an anti-tank team here, we're either going to have significant control of the surrounding area, or we're going to bait the enemy forward into firing at us. And I think we can work with both of those. Let's maybe put a Chinook down here then. Anti-tank team, sniper team to punish people for running up, and also just to like patrol to keep this area clear. Or honestly, the sniper team could be here. Sorry, here. Yeah, they can see out to the point and... Oh, that's my... How does that keep getting unmuted? Sorry about that. That's my Discord. Okay. So... Yeah, I like this a lot. We're definitely deploying one of the Chinooks here. And we don't know exactly where all their units are. So I'm leery of deploying too far forward. I'm actually... As soon as I clicked there, I was like, oh, was that dangerous? But no, we're fine. Everything's cool. We're certainly going to play a Cobra, which is going to go... I guess, hold on. Let's figure out what we're doing with infantry first, because the positioning of the infantry helicopters matters a hell of a lot more. Are we going to do a second one of these Chinooks? If we do, that'll leave us with 9 points, and then we can spend another 8 points on Cobras, and then get one of these things, which is fine. It can fire its machine gun in the air now, which is definitely helpful. The only reason I think you might want a Jeep is that, or you might want the other Chinook, is that this Jeep is good against enemy helicopters. And our own helicopters are good against enemy helicopters, but obviously they're not super good against them, and they're kind of expensive to use that way. So if we did want to bring one of these, we have like this thing zooming around shooting enemy helicopters, and this thing capping points in the backfield, because what else are we going to do with it? How would we want to use that? The thing that's especially rough about this is if the enemy has helicopters, they just kill this thing trivially. So, like, it won't even be useful against enemy tanks. Honestly, it's never going to be useful against enemy tanks. There's no way to use one of these damn things. So if we put it right here, it has great line of sight out here and prevents us from getting flanked. But again, all they have to have is one helicopter and it's immediately useless. Alright, I'm gonna deploy a tank Chinook back here for the purpose of covering the rear. And capping these points and stuff. And then after that, I guess all it does is just get you vision and die horribly, because it doesn't even have a basic gun on it. I don't know why it can't have a normal gun. If we do this, it leaves us with 10 points. And it's like a pair of Iroquois and a pair of Cobras. I kind of want another one of these infantry Chinooks, but I don't want to not have 2 Cobras, because, like, enemy vehicles are going to be a huge pain if we don't have 2 Cobras. Right, with 2 Cobras, you are a threat to pretty much any non-armored vehicle, like trucks and stuff. We can just zoom in and double 70mm rocket them. Maybe we skip the... Maybe we skip the Jeeps. I think we skip the Jeeps. Let's go Infantry Chinook, Iroquois, and double Cobra. Because I think we want more boots. Yeah. Okay. So maybe we set this here. So we can populate these areas very quickly. Oh, hey. Okay. Well, it doesn't have range to hit us right now. It'll probably fly forward and hit us, and that's not awesome, but we'll live. I'm thinking that we'll play the Cobra right here then. In fact, we'll play both of the Cobras, like, right here. I don't want to actually start in its range. But yeah, let's do this. Let's make it clear that if it wants to come forward and shoot at us, there will be consequences. And where do we deploy an additional sniper team? If we took the trees here, we have clear line of sight into the, yeah, I kind of like that. I think we'll do that. Alright. I am a little nervous about the enemy composition, and I think we have kind of an interesting situation here where their tanks are not going to be, like, particularly good against us. They're certainly going to be less dangerous than they would be in many other situations. We definitely need to unload everybody, because this helicopter probably will not survive the turn. You guys should just roll up and make it clear to this dude that things are not going well for him. And then we need to leave somebody in one of the helicopters to come back here and cap this, I guess. Or maybe we don't. Maybe we just bottleneck them, because like, there's limited reinforcements, right? The units they have are all the units they're ever going to have. So maybe the play is instead, unload everybody, be as aggressive as possible here, kill their units, and then after the fighting is done, a helicopter can walk a guy back, and we can pick it up from there. So I think I am going to play this anti-armor team, like, way forward. Let's see if we can bait them with it, because you know the AI does hate those anti-armor teams. And I think we are just going to disengage everybody in case they blow up the helicopters, which absolutely could happen. And do we do the same thing here? Play the anti-armor team forward? I mean, my guess is we're not going to get to use these anti-armor teams. We're basically deploying them as bait, right? I do think this makes sense. And it's like, do we let the other anti-armor team get detonated immediately? Or actually, stuff could still flank us. Maybe it's better to deploy the other anti-armor team here? Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to do that. Maybe that'll mean that we don't get any use out of it. In fact, I think there's pretty good odds that'll mean we don't get any use out of it, but also that gives us at least a little bit of cover from flanks, because otherwise we may actually have command point, like control point problems. Alright, let's see how they handle that. Not happy to see their light tanks, but I think we can do something about it. Okay. Alright, they have proper artillery, which is of course an issue given how infantry heavy we are. Oh, hey, that's a new thing. Okay, so hold on a second. What's your deal? An infantry combat vehicle that has 2 unit spaces. I assume that it has already offloaded, like that it didn't show up empty, that it just already offloaded its dudes. And then it's just an anti-air thing. I mean, that's hardy, man. That's a lot of parts. Alright, I mean, first things first, obviously. This happens. How do we want to handle you? What is the right way to do that? I think I'm going to have these guys call in, right? There's not a lot of reason for them to do anything else. You can't shoot at vehicles, which I didn't really think about. So definitely something of a weak play on my part, perhaps. I do want to make sure this dies before it offloads. Okay, one of you has to stay put and do this. So that thing's got to die. Then I'm going to back you up and have you take the shot at this dude from here. You have range 6 on the big missiles, so yeah, I like that. Roll a 3. Alright, solves a lot of my problems. What fantastic luck. That was a really good time for us to get lucky. I'm just going to go ahead and set you up right now. I'm going to set you up right now. I'm going to move you forward. I'm going to move... Nope, not you. I'm going to move you forward, though. This is basically just a sacrifice to try to keep them busy. Keep them doing things that aren't optimal. And I think we're actually going to load these guys. No, these guys back into the helicopter, and we're gonna fall back and back cap a little bit. And you can't do any damage to most of these enemy units. You guys should probably just get out here. You should get off the ground. I don't really know what to do with you. I'm gonna fly like way back here. This should give me vision of a lot of this back area, right? Okay, I saw one of those fast-moving infantry teams. And they got a tank, and they got one of these with 2 of those teams in it. Yo, this is a good unit. I wonder how much these cost. I hope it's at least 3. Alright, sniper teams are in place. And I think I am not inclined to move them. And you... It's hard to know what to do with you. So this is going to be a howitzer, right? This is going to be one of those armored units. Actually, maybe what I should have done was load these guys into this helicopter and fly them over here to attack this thing with the anti-tank gun. In fact, I definitely think that's what I should have done. Okay, we can do that next turn, but I think that's an error on my part. We should be pressuring that. Alright, we'll have air support up next turn. Let's see what they do. Yep, they're very fixated on the anti-tank units, which is good for us. Okay, so what are we shooting at? What are we dropping a laser on? Well, realistically, it can only be one of these 2 tiles, right? Yeah, nobody could hit that tile, I don't think. No, I totally could. So, there's a little bit of a question, I suppose, here. Alright, you're definitely going to go over there. These guys aren't actually that dangerous. So, we get to decide, are we using the airstrike to delete you or you? In theory, the big anti-tank missile should be capable of crushing this guy. You should be capable of crushing that guy. Just trying to plan out the whole move ahead of time. I think you step down here so that you're a threat to this area. You... I don't know what you do. We can just normally shoot these dudes. Alright, I'm gonna do this. If we hit the 2 damage, then that's really interesting. No, it's really not, though, because I don't think we want to use... what I was saying is, if we hit the 2 damage, then we can have these 2 clean them up. But I kind of don't want to have to do that, because I want to use anti-tank munitions. Yeah, alright. Let's do that. I think we're going to airstrike this rifle team. I think that's where we're at. Let's try this. Okay. And then heavy missiles on this thing, and if we don't get the kill here, which we should, it's fairly likely that we will. There's a 60% chance we get this kill. Okay. Then we do this. And then we airstrike this unit. Vision back here. Oh, it's actually just a towed howitzer. So this thing can take care of it. I'm assuming you guys can't shoot air units. Yeah, so we gotta approach carefully, but we can solve this with just the Iroquois. We don't actually need a ground unit. We should have enough range to get over here next turn. Yeah. Alright, and that means that we have some interesting decisions available to us with this helicopter. I mean, obviously, you gotta be a little bit careful with these vehicles. We've taken a lot of damage on our infantry already. Let's go ahead and land, disembark, and then next turn we just re-embark and move over. And I think we want to move you to, like, so how much speed do these things have? 4 on roads. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 targeting range. 4 targeting range. So this thing could shoot at this Cobra right now. But it won't be able to shoot at this one. I'm trying to figure out if there's a place where I can hang out, where I'll be a threat to those guys if they move forward. To be perfectly honest with you, this thing right here may be the reason that those vehicles are where they are. So I'm gonna back up a little bit so I can fire up the road if they come to the corner, but I'm gonna stay in this area. And I think everybody else is good. I don't think these people actually want to move at all. Yep, okay. That was a big turn for us, especially if it is the case that you know, we're both functioning on limited reinforcements. Okay, so this guy has 3 move and 3 range. He can't actually be a threat to you right now, so you're just going to shoot at that guy. We may as well just cut this team down, right? Don't see any reason to do anything else here. I'm gonna have waiting for refuel. It is possible that these guys will both do 2 damage when they attack. But I think the way I'm going to solve that is just swarm them. They're just going to have too many things to shoot at. You can move forward to a better lasering position. Yeah, and I think you're going to move this way because we're going to need a targeting laser down here pretty soon, I think. And what do I want to do with you? I think these guys are no longer really your problem. So he ends his turn here. I'm gonna move this helicopter down to here. We still have enough range to zoom up and use the small missiles if that looks like a thing that's worth doing. Okay. So we have a lot of information here, and it's looking like they are basically out of stuff. But the mission's not over yet. We still definitely have some problems. Okay, them choosing to sit still and fire is probably real good news for us. Absolutely, for sure. Call in. You definitely need to move forward. Alright. So, how do we want to do this? Well, I mean, you don't have a choice. You do the thing that you do. Max damage. Pretty lucky. So, I'm going to do this one. And then I'm going to drive one of the helicopters up here to finish that job, I think. And we're just going to continue to push these guys on this front. These dudes can't hit air at all. So all we have to do is keep a helicopter alive. And they lose. If we get rid of their vehicles, all we have to do is keep one helicopter alive and they lose. So the question is, no, it looks like we cannot in fact fly far enough forward to be able to shoot. All right, from here, as long as I don't roll, if I roll a 2 or a 3 on my 1 to 3 damage, I kill the thing that can fire back at me. But that does, like, I'm not happy enough with that. That makes me real nervous. Okay, we'll do this, and then if we have to bring in the other helicopter, we can, of course. Of course it worked that way. Yeah, that really sucks and should not be the way that it worked, but it is the way that it worked. You land... I mean, it was the way we knew it was going to work. Right, the game has so far not been terribly subtle about how the dice rolling is likely to go for us. So now this thing can move and shoot down that helicopter, which I really wish wasn't true. And, you know, it was a theoretically unlikely, but unfortunately quite certain outcome. Alright, they chose not to do it, though, which I really appreciate. Alright, just laser them. Let's just make sure it gets done. Go ahead and deploy you guys. This anti-tank team is actually doing work. It is keeping those guys occupied. Alright. So then I think we want to relocate to this front again. So let's see. They could get to as far as here. If I have a helicopter right here, it's very difficult for them to fight back. Or like one right here as well. 3 range... 4 movement, 2 range. So to here, like right here gives me a pretty great breadth of control, and right here as well. Or we could just move this Chinook and be right here. Yeah, I think this is kind of the optimal spot. You go pick these guys up. They're unlikely to get anything meaningful done over here. And you come over here to potentially pick these guys up. You move to this spot, and do I move this crew out into the open in the hopes of baiting the enemy forward? Because they won't be able to shoot me without moving forward, but if they move forward at all, they get helicoptered. They get the big missiles. I think I'm going to do that. I'm gonna offer them the hit, and let's see if they are foolish enough to take it. And you guys are going to step up here. Have that sniper team in place. I don't see any reason to let them creep up on me like this. No, I guess if I move here... Yeah, that should work. That should be fine. All we gotta do is deal with these 2 vehicles, and then the helicopters can kill all of the infantry completely trivially. Alright, that's over. So... if these vehicles are completely unwilling to come forward... You land. Let's go you in here. Yeah, you in here. I think I'm gonna load you up too. You'll back up to this. Yeah, and then we'll just fly people to the other control points because it seems like they're not gonna try to stop me, really. And then I cannot airstrike them at this distance. They are for the moment safe. But if any of these dudes come out of the trees, they're getting airstriked. It is going to happen. And honestly, then this helicopter can just come back and start working on these dudes as well. I guess you guys can start walking forward. There's nothing for you here. Yeah, I think we're cozy where we are. Maybe step these guys forward? No, I don't think so. Alright, is this a big coordinated push? Not really. So here's a question. Is it actually better to bring people back? So let's see, we'd move back here. Next turn we would land and capture. So yeah, we will get it next turn if we do it that way. We should probably do it that way. And then these guys can just load in after the helicopter lands. You can move forward. Yeah. Move forward and threaten these capture points, and they better figure out a solution real damn quick. So next turn, these guys are going to move forward and they're going to shoot the anti-tank team. And we can just have the anti-tank team fall back. At this point, they're not really accomplishing a whole lot. The helicopters are what are keeping these vehicles at bay anyway, right? Oh, right, you have 2 range. I forgot about that. Okay, they decided this is the moment. So, let's drop them. Oh, not you, sorry. Of course. Let's see. Here and here. You actually back up, because I forgot that these guys have 2 range. We'll just cap that, and then run these guys over to... Yeah, so I think I do want to land. I think I do want to drop these guys and these guys. And then you just take your units over here, and we're gonna have these guys commit some aggression on this side. So next turn, at the beginning of the turn, we will oh no, we probably won't auto cap this. We'll have to move somebody onto it, but basically we're good. I'm pretty sure we're good. Interesting. I really thought these vehicles were going to move forward and shoot at the helicopters. Yeah, weird place. Weird place. Because, like, the second this tank is dead, they can't win anymore, so... Feels like they ought to care about that. I guess everybody back in the helicopter. We're gonna have to go recap this point over here. Yeah, let's have you be the one to fly back. But yeah, so now this thing would have to roll forward to shoot this helicopter, and that means this helicopter has a very good chance of killing it. But my guess is it's gonna stay put and fire at these guys. So yeah, I guess you just, like... I don't even know what I want you to do. I guess come over here. Maybe they're not planning to do what I just said. Yeah, okay. Because I was gonna say if this guy's gonna stand still, then he shoots first, right? All right, for real. Die. So, it is absurd that we are pretending that should have taken that long. Alright. So, it's all over now. We do have to be a little bit cautious in how we actually lay our units down. But as long as the helicopters are in the air, they're invincible, so... Definitely don't land you yet. Alright, these guys have nowhere to run. Okay. So next turn we'll just, yeah. I mean, it's over. They should probably just give us a victory screen at this point. I guess maybe if we actually came down here and we killed the enemy truck, they would just give us a victory screen because there are no enemy units left on the map, which is, I think, the first time we've done that. Nope, they still make you actually cap. Alright, there we go. That one took a little bit of doing, but we got there.
This is some real ass end of nowhere country, I tell you what. Must get buried under 10 feet of snow in the winter.
It does, sir.
What, you from around here?
Escanaba, sir.
Escanaba, home of... hell if I know.
Not much, sir. Not much.
I'm familiar with Escanaba. He's right. That's basically the deal with Escanaba. There's a pretty entertaining movie about it. Alright, break through to recapture an airbase, capture a TIS-330. I do love to capture a TIS-330.
A lot of lakes and trees down there. It's gonna be a real quagmire.
A real what? Doesn't matter, long as we hit him hard and fast.
That's what I'm saying, sir. Maneuverability's a concern on this terrain.
Nobody's asking you to dance, Private. We drop in, drive up, and kick Ivan in the nuts.
Hell yeah. Death from above.
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir. I work for a living.
Alright, so they got 20 straight up. We have 10-10. With an airborne assault vehicle. So, pretty standard heat rounds. A Shillelagh anti-tank guided missile. I mean, this seems like a pretty good unit, honestly. It's a little bit less armored than a normal tank, but on the whole, seems pretty strong. And pretty basic stuff aside from that, all things we've seen before. So we don't actually have any idea what they are rolling, but my guess would be there's going to be a lot of tanks in it, probably. This may well be one of those situations where we just want to create a defensive network and then sit back on it. So, like, maybe try to drive an ATV, what do you call it, an APC up to here and get dudes into these woods as quickly as possible. Although, I mean, really, you'd like your anti-tank unit, your anti-armor team, to be up here. Have some guys with a relatively solid anti-air thing. See, this seems to be sort of core to the design ethos of this game, and I don't really understand it. Why give me a unit that does 2 to 4 damage for firing at things that have 3 health? Like, obviously the intent is you will never know if you're going to kill it when firing at it, but isn't that a bad thing? Like, why is that a good design idea? It's like, well, you'll never, you can strategize all you want, but the dice rolls are really going to determine what happens. I would design my game to intentionally not do that, personally. I mean, this is implying that there's going to be a lot of helicopters, so maybe we ought to have one of these, because this does seem like a good anti-helicopter weapon. Does the SAM team has 2 health. Okay, so a lot of the time it's just not even going to be able to do the thing that it's designed for, because it's going to die. It's going to be helicopter flies up and shoots it for 1, and then they howitzer it for 1, because they always have artillery. So, like, this is a great example of sort of like the place that design idea leads. If you have a unit that can never be guaranteed to actually do its job, that has to be in place 2 turns before it has to do its job, and that is likely to be countered by the unit that its job is meant to counter, then let's just get a tank. Let's just use a tank. I think we're gonna call in another one of these for sure, and then one of these guys, and I guess a mortar carrier? I mean, the mortar carrier is not going to be any good against tanks. We have stuff that's good against tanks already. Can't shoot airborne units at all, which is not a problem that our other stuff has. Maybe we just want... And this thing does have resupply on it. These both do. I kind of think this unit's garbage, so we're going to take one of these, but my suspicion is it's not going to be very good. And then I'm going to also grab... I'm going to grab a mortar carrier, and we'll see. Some infantry units could be a problem. Maybe it's a good idea to be ready for them. Alright, so I don't know where I want this anti-air unit to be, but it does feel like we probably want to cap that point so that the other units don't have to stop and cap the point. Okay, you are only good against vehicles. Interesting. You can't shoot air units. So you have a shot? Yeah, okay. Well, I guess that means that this is a perfectly sensible thing to do, because it's already probably the case that he's just going to destroy my APC. And then... I don't really want to roll forward here. Actually, this is pretty good. Yeah, let's move you forward to here. From here, what do we have to... Okay, we can shoot that and just straight forward. Aside from that, I would definitely much rather be here. But obviously, if we do that, we're going to lose the Shillelagh instead of the APC, which I do not consider to be an acceptable outcome. So I guess we'll do this for right now. And it just gets to shoot whatever it wants to shoot. Okay, we got lucky. So... we do not have the damage to just roll up and kill that thing. We could roll up and hit it for 2, but then it could potentially kill any one of our guys. It cannot shoot at vehicle, or it cannot shoot at infantry though. So I'm going to deploy this infantry right here. And then I'm going to move this Jeep the hell out of the way. And you are also moving the hell out of the way. So now the helicopter doesn't have anything it can shoot at, I'm pretty sure. Alright, I feel pretty okay about that. I think we have reasonable positioning. We just gotta survive, kill some enemies, wait for the reinforcements. So range 3 means you can hit this. You just finish him off, I guess. You unfortunately have to set up. But now that you're set up, if this guy chooses to take his turn to fire, he is in a lot of trouble. And let's see, you move up. Do I want to put the anti-armor team up? I'm a little worried that they're going to just die. But also, I do think we should probably disengage men from the vehicle at this point. Seems like a wise play. I'm gonna back off to here. We can't make it so that this thing can't shoot at these vehicles. We had to make a trade for that helicopter, and I'm not necessarily heartbroken about the trade we chose to make. I'm gonna leave the Jeep right there. I would rather it shoot at the Jeep than any of this other stuff, so let's give it the chance to make the wrong move. Yep, and of course it hit the damage it needed to hit. Well, I mean, we're going to push this thing and it's just going to back off, right? But it's not safe for you to move forward, so you may as well do this. And then you could just start firing at random dudes. Do I actually just set up right here, maybe? I can only shoot forward, but I have this big cone. You know what? I am just going to set up right here. I don't think it's right to move forward and heat round. Although I guess actually, the way things are set up right now, these two are both going to move in and heat round me. Oh no, he can't get forward. He's not allowed to just drive over my units. What am I talking about? Alright, I'm not going to worry about it then. I think actually we're in pretty good positions in most places. Except this Jeep. This Jeep's probably wrong. The Jeep goes to... Scout, I guess? So we traded one of our tanks for both of their attack helicopters. Mathematically, I think things should have gone a little better than they did go, but it's not like the end of the world. Okay, that's a hell of a shot. Boy, 20 points sure does buy you every tank in the universe. Of course, my units are completely fucking useless. Alright, nice of one of you to show up. I'm fairly sure this unit is also useless now. I don't think they have any, aircraft left. I guess your job is to recap this point and just slow them down. Alright, so let's get our reinforcements in here. You are in a pretty good anti-tank kind of position. Of course, that guy could just roll forward and one-shot you, and there's literally nothing that can be done about that. Let's see. You could go right here and just reinforce in case that's precisely what fucking occurs. Let's see. In order to take the shot, the tank's got to move forward to here. So yeah, I can deploy this Sheridan right there, and now he can't take the shot without at least opening himself to counter shot. I mean, obviously, there is the risk that he will roll forward, take the shot, get max damage, and then we will just fail to do anything back, which is, unfortunately, very, very real. Play another one of these, I guess. And then... I don't think they're going to get any more helicopters. If they had any more helicopters, we would have seen them already. So that seems like it's probably not that useful. But the mortar carrier is also bad. The mortar carrier literally can't do damage to anything that matters, so I guess we bring in this vehicle? Unfortunately, 2 infantry teams doing a combined 1 damage to this tank is pretty much expected value. You can't really complain too much about that math. Alright, there's about a 50-50 chance here. Let's see. You gotta try to get this guy. We all gotta try to get this guy if we can. Oh, right, passengers. Forgot about that. Let's just get these guys off the vehicles. Alright, I'm no longer blinded. Hooray. I guess you just move forward into the trees. Try to make it into the trees. Your weapon is not likely to deal any actual damage. Yeah, I guess we shoot at these guys. Mortar carrier is largely immaterial, unfortunately. Alright, where do we want to put this anti-tank unit? I'm not sure that we have another good spot, honestly. I guess we could play him right here in case I, like, completely lose containment. But it looks to me like we've sort of got all of their units approximately where they're going to be for the rest of the fighting, so... Alright, well, first things first, obviously, it would be real cool if these guys were dead. Okay. Then we got some real easy shots here. I mean, do I want to move forward and potentially heat round? You've run out of ammo. We can resupply you with this Jeep. Alright, hold on. These guys are too far back to heat round, so these guys can just use their big missiles. Actually, the way things are positioned right now, we can't make a move forward on that, that tank down there. Okay, that's not a big deal. You guys switch over to that tank, give this guy the big missile, and then try it again. There we go. Okay, so you're just a mortar team. I mean, I do care about that, but I also kind of can't do very much about it right now. You get back on there to get driven forward next turn. You're doing a good job keeping everybody at bay here. Yeah, I'll move this guy to here in the hopes of drawing some of their infantry backwards to try to mess with him. My guess is they probably will not fall for that, but it's worth a shot. Okay, that's a fine thing for those guys to be doing right now. You're just gonna go cap that point. And this totally did work. I mean, we could just shoot these guys and accept the death of the Jeep as like a thing we don't actually care about. See, that's an anti-tank team, so probably best we don't just roll forward adjacent to that. I think we probably want to move this thing up, because it is a threat to reclaim stuff in a way that the other thing isn't. And then... what is the right way to do this stuff? Let's disengage you here. Just put you guys on the road, I suppose. I guess the right move is just disregard the enemies at this point. Right, like I don't have to play this game anymore. We'll just go cap all the points. That guy's immobilized, so yeah, we just ignore the enemies at this point and drive forward to victory. Did you know? Tanks. It turns out. This doesn't even matter, but we may as well do it. You get to recap this. Okay. Game. Unfortunately, one cap point per turn, so we are going to have to hit end turn one more time after this. But yeah, we absolutely were able to just wear these guys down through attrition, which is a beautiful strategy when it works. And they correctly identified that this unit was not worth anything after it fired one time, and so just completely ignored it. Oh, right, I was supposed to be looking for a TIS team.
Damn. I'm glad ours still works.
Maybe being dropped from a plane isn't so good for the tank. A small number of Sheridans became inoperable after hitting the ground. There's reinforcements on the way.
They're gonna drop the reinforcements too?
Air Force Special Delivery.
Hell yeah.
It sounds like we shouldn't be so happy about that. It sounds like it's kind of like a bad idea. Okay, well, I think that is probably where I'm going to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to go back and do that last mission again and remember to capture the TIS, and we'll open the next episode with that. So thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time on Monday, we'll open up with a little bit of programming and then get to closing out this second chapter. I'm curious if there's going to be some kind of significant narrative event. Again, the narrative does seem to be sort of crawling forward here, and it makes me kind of wonder if maybe there's just not... Maybe we shouldn't expect very much more from it, because it seems like they're really spacing out the story events that mean anything at all. I don't know. Come back on Monday to find out, and we'll see you then.